like that. I'm not quite sure, but everything's good here.
Yeah, okay. Everybody says it's good to go. Okay, man. So yeah, first of all, before we can get into this interview, there's like miles and miles of red tape, emotional red tape that I've got to go through before I can actually do this correctly.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you so much for Diablo and Diablo 2. You absolutely ruined my grades in high school, but in the best way possible. So thank you for that.
Thanks. I think.
So let's jump right into some serious questions. I noticed that you're rocking a pretty cool beard right now. It's coming in nice and
It's a little
nice.
shorter than it was, but yes,
Yeah, are you a big beard fan? Because I am.
I am. I have my ancestry is Norwegian, and I just can grow a mean red beard. It's well, it used to be red. Now it's mainly gray. But the
That's funny because I got a pretty gnarly beard growing here. They love me growing this beard here in Twitch, and they're like, don't shave it, don't shave. I'm getting to hobo status now is what's happening.
yeah,
So
that's what it happened with me too. I was into getting into my hair. I hadn't had a haircut in months and didn't shave for about 8 weeks or so, and I had started getting it. There needed to be an intervention.
that's great.
Dave, yeah, you're looking like a homeless person. So
Yeah, exactly. Everyone starts, they look at you funny when you go to the grocery store and stuff. It's awesome. So I love context and history, and I want to kind of start at the beginning because, you're a personal hero of mine. So I want to know how did you get into the industry? I know that it was a kind of a different game back then, but how did you get in the industry? And today, because I know a lot of these people watching are very interested in video games. How would they get their foot in the door, maybe with the gaming industry itself?
yeah, let's see. I started in the video game industry in 1991, which is a long time ago now. And when I started, the very first company I worked for was a clip art company, and they had made a bunch of clip art. Clip art was people would make drawings and put them on burn them on a CD-ROM that they would ship out, and they would have pictures for newsletters and stuff. This is, basically before the internet. So the only way to really get pictures to put them in presentations and stuff was through these things.
Oh
So
yeah.
the company had not done very well with that, but they had a bunch of artists, so they knew the Tramiels who owned Atari at the time, and so they were able to get a game contract through that. So they needed a programmer, and that's where I came in. But so I started working there, and I only worked there for a very short time because, well, my paychecks were bouncing, so that didn't really work for me.
We've all been there, bud.
It was a good introduction to the video game industry, and then I actually my very first project that I completed was on the Sega Genesis, and that was a game called Super High Impact Football, which was a conversion from an arcade machine that I did in about 3 months by myself.
Wow.
Uh, so the that's how I got started in the industry. But before that, really, I really got my start from my dad brought home an Apple II when I was a kid, Apple II Plus, and I just spent countless hours in front of the machine teaching myself how to program and how to program, and eventually from BASIC to assembly language, and wrote programs and did programming and made games pretty much from that moment on, and knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do, and it really was a passion for me. And that's, I think, my advice today, even though the industry's changed a lot, my advice is basically the same, which is if you want to make games for a living, make games. And the only way that you can really become an expert at anything is to practice and do it. And when you have a passion, find people that share your passion. If you can't draw the pictures, it doesn't matter. Get them off the internet. If you can't program, but you can draw pictures, meet up with a programmer and work together. Whatever it takes to try and to get an actual project going. And the thing is that there's lots of code available to do things on the PC, or you can use Unity to make stuff. There's lots of ways to really get games created now, and it just takes a bunch of effort from a small group of people to really start trying to do something. And I can't emphasize that more. If you want to do something for a living, the best way to to make that a reality is to actually do it, and that's about the best lesson I can give.
Cool. Thanks, man. So there was a question actually from one of the fans that had posted on my forums just before, because I want to talk a lot about Marvel, but before we get into that, I want to ask one more question that's kind of off the Marvel topic. Was there anything in any of the games that you work with that you wish you could have done differently, but it wasn't possible? Any of the games that you worked with in the past?
Sure. I mean, yes, there's always not only always features of games that I would have liked to have seen in products that are quote unquote finished, uh, but there's also things that are just not technically possible. And those kind of things are, I'm saving them for the future.
We don't want to pick your brain too much because it could become a reality, right?
Yeah, some of those things will be pretty possible soon. So I would like to do some of those things in the future.
Like a holographic robot dinosaur pet that runs around with you, right? Something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Immersion gaming is definitely something I can't wait for.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's move right into Marvel. So here's my biggest question. Why Marvel? Why superheroes? It seems like a lot of the hack and slash, actually a lot of games in general that have to do around superheroes and stuff like that, they tend not to do as well as, let's say, the movies, stuff like that. So why did you pick Marvel as opposed to maybe like a fantasy or pirate setting or anything else?
Pirates. I should have considered pirates.
Yeah, why not pirates and ninjas? Why not?
Well, mainly I chose Marvel because I'm a huge Marvel fan. I mean, I this is something I wanted to do because I love Marvel. So, also I think that for in a lot of ways there are many fantasy games out there, and I really wanted to kind of expand away from just doing straight up fantasy and just going into doing something new and different that was an interesting direction for me. And I thought that this was a great opportunity. Not only do I love Marvel, but also then and this was before Avengers, but it was already growing in popularity, and I thought that there were things that we could do in an action RPG with superheroes that had never really been done in action RPGs, and that really intrigued me. So I thought that all of these sounded like wonderful challenges, as well as my love for the IP, and all this made this a good fit and really something that I wanted to do.
That's great. Part of what makes comic books so great is the story. Everything, it's the relationships between the people. It's
Yep.
all about the characters. So how much character development is in Marvel Heroes?
Uh, Well, it in a lot of ways it's strange because you are you are right that it's all about the relationships that they have between each other. But that's kind of goes against gaming in a lot of ways. Uh, in gaming, people like to kind of tell their own story. The drama of gaming is the gaming events. It's not a scripted thing story wise. It's that's why watching like a baseball game or something is really exciting because you just don't know the outcome, right? That's so that kind of goes against each other in some ways. So we're allowing you to create your own story and create your own version of these superheroes by wearing different costumes or concentrating on different powers or kind of customizing your hero in such a way that this is my ideal version of Wolverine or Iron Man or whoever you're playing. And so in a lot of ways you kind of tell your own story by going on an adventure with this particular character and your customization of that, which is impossible to script via a actual dialogue
Oh yeah, yeah.
and an actual story. So we have a general story that kind of gives you motivation and stuff, but in a lot of ways you kind of have to make up your own personal story to go through this experience. That said, we also add a lot of touches that add some of the relationships that we have with the other characters. So if you're playing as Logan uh, and Cyclops comes by, then he might say something snide to him or whatever. It's just because that kind of emphasizes their relationships in the comics. And so we have nice touches like that, which will give the whole thing a little bit of character and depth that you can't get in other games. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to play as the Marvel superheroes, was to have these established characters, these established relationships, and be able to tell an overall story that made sense, that people could relate to, that had history and meaning and relationships and things like that. And that really, those were some of the reasons that we chose to play as the Marvel superheroes.
Yeah, it was really funny because right before I got on the interview, I was playing, like I said, and I had Hawkeye, and he went by, I think it was Scarlet Witch. He's like, "How's the hexes going?" Like, what's going? I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool that they walk by and kind of recognize, they kind of
Right.
recognize each other." So, speaking of so many, relationships and heroes, was it difficult to fit so many iconic heroes into one game? Because there's so many big names when it comes to Marvel. Did you have to like pick and choose, or did you just,
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did have to pick and choose, and it was, not always easy. There were, I think, there are tough choices that need to be made. Obviously, I think that there's probably, five or six that really rise to the top that are, the most popular that people would expect.
who's
Uh,
your favorite?
okay. What's that?
Who's your favorite
My favorite to play or my favorite superhero?
superhero?
Uh, People keep asking me this, and I change my answer all the time. So I think that lately, I think that I've enjoyed Deadpool the most lately. But I don't know. I waver on that because it changes all the time. I think that I've really been enjoying some of the latest stuff in the Marvel Now stuff, especially Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I've really been liking a lot.
That's cool. Yeah, I do the same thing, man. I used to be a huge Gambit fan, and then I was like, no, I like Wolverine, and I was like, no, I like Cyclops. There's so many
Yeah.
cool, heroes in the Marvel universe that it makes it kind of difficult to pinpoint one. But so do you? Okay, so speaking again of heroes, can you maybe reveal or talk about some of the heroes that you're planning to release? Because I know you have a crap ton of heroes, man. I was surprised at how many heroes you actually had as playable heroes that you can unlock and find and stuff. But do you have any new heroes that you're actually planning to release?
Yeah, we've announced some of the next heroes that are going to be worked on, and I think that the very first one that I know that we're working on right now is Human Torch, which we had hoped that was going to make launch but didn't, and so he's close, and I believe that we'll have him. He'll be the first character that for sure will make it. We've also talked and announced. Let me think about what are some of the others we've announced. Emma Frost and Luke
Nice.
Cage and Nova, right?
Cool.
Emma Frost, Luke Cage, and Nova are the other ones that are going to be coming soon.
So one of my favorite villains of all time is Professor Xavier. When are we going to get to play? When are we going to get to play some villains? Joking, of course.
Yeah. Well, playing villains would be fun.
Can
I
it
don't know.
work in the game? I mean, is it something you guys are looking forward to? Because I would like to jump in and
We've
play as
talked
Magneto.
about this a lot. People have often suggested this, and I think we have access to all 8,000 characters. So never say never here.
Awesome. So again, I was surprised at how many heroes you guys had in there, and so with this many heroes, do you feel like you gave each unique feel and unique skill choices and stuff that put them apart from the others? Because sometimes when game developers decide to have so many different heroes or characters, they kind of get watered down and almost regurgitated skills and stuff like that. Do you feel like you gave a good unique feel to each of the heroes individually?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even though I think that what you're saying is true, that's inevitable. When you have this many skills and this many characters, some of the skills are going to be similar. That's just those are just the facts. We only have so much we can work with. So, but that said, we tried to make unique combinations of skills for every single hero so that they play differently, even heroes that you would think are quite similar, in theory, like Hulk and Thing, uh, they actually played very, very differently because Thing has a bunch of group type of, one of his branches of his trees really revolves around group activities and auras and things like that. And Hulk has a lot more jumping and smashing kind of stuff. So, the feel of the character actually plays and is not only in the spirit of the way that they're in the comic book, but actually plays very differently, even though on the surface you would think that they play very, very, very much the same.
Cool. With why did you choose? I'm just curious. Was there any discussion or anything about the whole create your own hero versus using the iconic heroes? I'm sure you've been asked this before.
Yeah.
Because like game like City of Heroes, you get to create things, but it seemed like even in City of Heroes, people would try to recreate some of the they would be
Yeah.
I'm Metal Man instead of Iron so
I'm the Herc.
yeah, I'm hurt exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's really, yes, there was a lot of discussion about this maybe at the very beginning, but we decided very early that we wanted to play as the Marvel superheroes. Other games have made create your own hero before. I think that when the game is filled, in my opinion, with people that of three categories when you make your own superhero. One is people that are making a superhero that's just like the superhero that they wanted to play. You're making the Herc or something instead of the Hulk, and then it's that, and you've made him as similar as you possibly can. He's basically purple instead of green or something, and that's it. Um, so I didn't want kind of knockoffs, and that didn't really appeal to me. I mean, why not? Why don't we just let you play as a Marvel superhero? The other category is that you want to make your own superhero, and you have a bunch of backstory and things like that. But I really don't feel like not only have people already done that, and they have plenty of games that you can do that in, but I think that it loses a lot of the flavor of the game because there's not as much you can relate to because when you're making, you have Captain Stargazer or something like that as your hero. Like, there's no backstory or history or relationships I have with these characters, and I don't really know what they're like. And that's part of the appeal of the IP is all of this history and knowledge you have of these characters. You've seen them in movies, you've read them in comic books and things like that, and you kind of understand these characters and you can relate to them. When somebody's making their own superhero and trying to be serious about it, it's unfortunate that I can't get any kind of relationship or information between my hero and somebody else, and it makes for kind of an experience that just isn't as engaging. And then the third group is just people that don't care about any of that and just want to kick some butt, and then they end up making, Captain Stinky Pants, and your game's filled with,
the Incredible Wall Builder,
terribly named superheroes,
Yeah,
and that really detracts from the overall game. You're wandering around and you're seeing a bunch of people with stupidly named heroes. It's not really that. It really breaks the immersion factor.
Gotcha.
And so I think that all of those reasons right there were reasons why we felt that it was best to play as the superheroes and make it, not only is it unique and different than anything else, but it also gives you a lot of grounding and relationships and IP and depth and history and things like that. And that's why we chose that direction.
Cool. I'm going to ask one more question about the game, and then I'm going to go to some of my viewers because they have a lot of questions about Endgame and stuff. These people have been playing for a while. I picked it up in beta for a little bit, and I played it, and I just played it today a little bit. But so I'm going to let them ask some of the more technical questions, but I'm going to ask one more because I think it's important. I've started to see a shift, and it's been happening for years, where it's no longer, hey, pay $40 for a game, especially a game where there's massive multiplayer online aspect of it. It's no longer pay the subscription or pay, the one-time fee. It's now these cash shops. And what's happened a lot is people get caught up on the whole pay to win. Is it pay to win? And it's pay to win. And to me, the whole pay to win thing, I'm okay with it as long as my progression isn't hampered. As long as I can always continue on, and I don't have to, drop $50 just to get this sword or this beam that I need to continue on. I feel okay with it. But a lot of people are iffy about it. It's kind of a new thing. So I want to talk a little bit about that. What's the cash shop like for your game? What are your theories behind it, your ideas, that kind of thing, so we can get kind of a cool, your perception on it.
Yeah, we are not pay to win. I didn't want to sell power basically in the cash shop. The We have the main thing that you buy out of the with microtrans is unlocking new heroes or buying costumes, and that's a majority of what is in there. We have a few other fun things, some boosts and stuff like that, and then something called a fortune card, which has a bunch of random effects that kind of come off of it. And so we wanted to kind of focus more on, give the main things to buy are very similar to maybe like League of Legends, where you're buying the heroes and you're buying the skins. Same kind of theory here. So it isn't a direct, hey, you're going to get the sword of ultimate slaying and
Yeah.
to pay $50 for that thing to really move on. All the content is free. You don't ever have to pay us any money. The actual heroes and costumes and everything drop in the game, so you don't never have to pay us anything. It's just, if you're trying, I would really like to play Iron Man, and I've been playing for a little while, and I've been unlucky, and he didn't drop for me yet. You can just pay right now to unlock him instead of having to kind of get lucky and get the drop that you're looking for.
Yeah.
But that's mainly the theory behind it, is that everything is accessible, everything is available, everything is free, but you can kind of shortcut your experience by giving us some money to unlock that stuff right away.
Gotcha. Okay, so somebody had asked in here, what is the number one or some of the top priority aspects of the game that you guys are looking to improve now that you've released?
Well, we're going to be adding a bunch of. The list is very long. There's a lot of stuff that we're very excited about putting in the game, from kind of system-wide stuff like ding and achievements and things like that, to Endgame activities and beefing that out a little bit, and putting in more PvP things, and adding new heroes and new costumes, and as well as there's going to be new chapters of content that were being developed. So pretty much everything is going to be improved and added to as time goes on. We have lots of plans of things that we're going to be moving forward with.
Cool. Let me look here in the chat and see if there's lots of questions coming in. I'll pick one out and I'll throw a few at you if that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Runic asks, any chances to relook at the way heroes are obtained by adding another in-game currency, as you can farm for hours on end and never have a hero drop, whereas a new currency would allow them maybe a chance at working towards something and earning something instead of a luck-based platform. Any ideas about that?
Yeah, we had talked about that, and we're still working on that. There may be something where eventually we put in a recipe that you can put in a certain amount of tokens of other heroes and choose the one you want, or something like that. We've talked about this. We're not sure whether or not we're going to do it, but it is something that we have talked about.
Cool. And PJ asks, he wants me to ask you, I guess there's an XP bug that's currently affecting you guys in game. He's wanting to know, is there a hotfix coming to fix that? You're laughing, so I know you must know what it is. So
it is. It's opening day bonus experience days here. Yes, the hotfix is coming. I think it's going to be tonight that we'll fix it.
Cool. Awesome.
So you're experiencing in now.
Nice. So it looks like they're coming in quick, so give me just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Will there ever be something like an auction house for the game?
Yeah, we have talked about putting in an auction house, but it will not be a real money auction house like Diablo's. It will be more like a traditional MMO auction house where you put things up for in-game currency and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. And right now, they say that's maybe a little difficult to determine which daily missions you've completed or not.
Hmm.
Are you going to be adding in something to maybe make that a little more
Yeah,
clear for them?
yeah, that is something that's feedback that we've gotten. Yeah, we're going to be trying to address that.
Cool. Um, let's see. We'll take a few more questions from you guys. Okay, they're asking how far are you planning to take PvP? Is it going to be a 1 versus 1, or maybe like a 2 versus 2 arena, or like is it going to be 20 versus 20? I mean, how? What exactly are your thoughts on the PvP aspect?
All that sounds fun.
Yes, just say yes. And yeah.
Yes, we would like to do all of it. We are working on our next PvP things right now. So, I think that I am a big fan of PvP, and I would really like to put in some more match-based PvP stuff. And that's, I think, where we're really going to kind of head as the next direction, the next PvP type of event that you can do.
Did you the group finders? Apparently, some people are having a little trouble finding groups in game. Is there anything that's going on with those? Are they working as intended? Or are you trying to boost those up?
Uh, they're working as made, but that but we didn't exactly couldn't predict all of the things that could come out of it. But we are addressing this is something that we have some ideas on fixes on getting end game grouping working better. And we have some we think immediate hotfix level kind of stuff that should be out in the next week or so that should address some of those things.
You know what's really cool is I went online, the last couple of weeks, and I was reading some of your interviews, and I really like how candid and you are about things. You're just honest. Like when I ask you, like I ask you the question, like, oh, is it working as intended? You're like, well, yeah, but it's not working out, like we hoped. I like that. I really appreciate that in a game, a development company that's able, and especially the head. You're president now of Gazillion, correct?
Yes.
Yes. To be able to look at what they've done and say, okay, maybe this wasn't the best choice, and just kind of own it and say, okay, we're going to make it better. That's the coolest attitude when it comes to games. I think a lot of people appreciate that, especially when they have a good sense of humor about their games too. And yeah, so I just, I thank you. I'm gonna read off a couple other questions that are coming through. As long as you got the time, is that okay?
Yeah, a couple more minutes, about 2 more minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, that's a great question. Are you going to be hopefully taking Marvel Heroes maybe to Steam? And then if you do decide to do that, or if that is in the works, are you looking at maybe making Heroes tradable or anything like that?
Those are two separate questions. It is
Well,
on.
I mean, within Steam, because how Steam has like the very easy trading system on there, like for
Right,
other
right,
games.
right.
Yeah.
Uh, it is on Steam.
Oh, it is on Steam. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Uh, no, no, it's fine. And so it's available now on Steam, and there are some packs that you can buy in there, or you can just play for free. And so that is up and running. We're going to be enhancing our Steam experience. We have no plans on getting hero trading in the game.
Okay. Well, what's fun about streaming for hundreds of people is when you make a mistake like that, they're gonna read me pretty good for it now in the chat. So we're gonna take one more question, guys. I'm assuming that the people I'm reading from know what they're talking about. Any more any thoughts on getting more storage for your character that they can carry around?
Huh. This is a great debate amongst the myself and others. Part of the RPG experience, in my opinion, is taking a break from the action and getting you back, going through a cycle of action and then taking a break and kind of determining what you have and where you're at and kind of going back to town and selling stuff and donating and all that kind of stuff. And that process should happen every about once an hour or so, which is about right now in terms of timing. I know some people never want to go back to town, never want to take a break, but in actuality I think that it enhances your experience, because if you do the same thing repetitively over and over and over again, it wears thin quicker than if you actually take a break and take a look at your character and take a moment to breathe and do some item upgrades and stuff like that. And so I'm pretty happy with the way that that's going. That said, everybody always asks for more inventory space, and there's always great debates about whether or not we would give it to them, via just giving it to people or microtransit or whatever. I'm not quite sure. So debate's still going on, but no plans at this time.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I didn't really think about it like that. There's a method to the madness of having such a limited space, so that you do take some time. I totally see where you're coming from. I didn't really think about that. It's kind of interesting. Well, thanks, man. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
It's been great for me. Was it good for you too?
That's right.
Awesome. Did you guys say that you maybe had some stuff worked out to toss out, or?
Yeah, I think so.
Send it to him over IM.
Okay. Hey, you should have it up on your IM.
Okay, let me check it out.
Leo sent it to you.
And I will. Oh, okay. Yep.
Great.
Good to go, man.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, David. It's been a pleasure. Really appreciate you coming on here. So does everybody else who's here. And we really appreciate some of the giveaways that you guys are doing. I want you to have a wonderful day, man.
You too. Thanks for the
You
opportunity.
are a beautiful person. All right, man.
All right.
See you later. So, guys, I'm going to need just a quick moment to die a little inside. That was David Brevik. Oh man, I wish I wouldn't have asked the question about the Steam thing. I was hoping that whoever was asking the questions, they were like, "Is it going to be on Steam?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good question," because I've just been playing it off the client. So and I haven't had time to get on my Steam lately because I've been streaming Neverwinter so much. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I know OMFG, I know, buddy. But I couldn't come up with a better way to do it, so it is what it is. I think it went over pretty well though. But we do have some prizes here that we're going to give away to you guys. So give me just a moment. I'll pop up the application to be able to do this fairly. And we'll go ahead and get these out. You look pretty good in this suit. Thanks, Troy. I appreciate it, man. Beard grew just a little bit, yeah. Guys, I want you to know that I am going to take the whole interview. I'm going to put it in a highlight video, and then I'm going to upload it to my YouTube. So if you missed anything, you guys are going to have all the access to that you need. As soon as I'm done streaming here, I'm going to do that for you guys. So if you have questions about what happened, anything like that, we'll be good to go. So we're working on the prizes right now, which was very, very, very nice of them to hook us up with those. So we're going to get those out to you guys. So just give me a little bit of patience, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, I know. Crazy, huh?
Oh my gosh. How do you feel?
Feel great. It feels awesome. All right, guys. Superman in a Marvel stream? Yeah, see? You walked in front, and that's what happens.
I'm glad I didn't do it when he was here. I would have felt bad now. It's the only superhero I have.
Okay, guys, so we've got 2 keys for Avengers Premium Founders Packs to give away right now. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to set a keyword for the wonderful, wonderful thing here. Keyword is going to be David. Guys, go ahead and say David in the chat. This is super nice of them, guys, to be able to provide this for us. Very, very kind of them. David was a really great guy in the interview. I hope you guys have appreciated the interview thus far, or appreciate the stream thus far, and also appreciate the interview. So I'm going to give some time for you guys.